Welcome, dear viewers, to A1 Storyteller, where tales come alive and every story is a journey into the unexpected. Tonight, we dive into a gripping narrative that will leave you on the edge of your seat, a story of power, prejudice, and the consequences of one man's actions. So, grab your favorite blanket, settle in, and let us take you into the world of racist cop accidentally regrets it. The camera pans to the book opening, its pages flipping rapidly as the sound of wind howls in the background. The screen transitions to the first scene. It was a quiet Tuesday evening in the bustling city of Crestwood. The streets were alive with the hum of traffic, the chatter of pedestrians, and the occasional wail of a siren. Officer Jake Thompson, a seasoned cop with a reputation for being tough and unfortunately prejudiced, was on patrol. His cruiser rolled slowly through the downtown area, his eyes scanning the streets with a mix of boredom and disdain. Jake had always held on to his biases, believing them to be justified. He saw the world in black and white, both literally and figuratively. His colleagues had tried to reason with him, but Jake was stubborn. He believed he was right, and nothing could change his mind. As he turned a corner, his radio crackled to life. "All units, be advised. We have a report of a disturbance at 5th and Maple. Proceed with caution." Jake sighed, muttering under his breath, "Probably another bunch of troublemakers." He flipped on his sirens and sped toward the location. When Jake arrived at the scene, he saw a group of people gathered on the sidewalk. Among them was a tall, broad-shouldered man in a sharp suit, trying to calm the crowd. Jake didn't recognize him, but something about the man's demeanor caught his attention. Without thinking, Jake stepped out of his cruiser, his hand resting on his holstered gun. "All right, everyone, break it up. What's going on here?" he barked, his voice dripping with authority. The man in the suit turned to face him, his expression calm but firm. "Officer, there's no need for that. I've got this under control." Jake's eyes narrowed. "And who are you?" The man reached into his pocket, pulling out a badge. "Captain Marcus Reynolds, Crestwood Police Department." Jake's heart skipped a beat. Captain Reynolds was a legend in the department, known for his integrity and leadership. But Jake had never met him in person. Until now. Jake's mind raced. He had heard stories about Captain Reynolds, but he had never imagined he'd encounter him like this. His pride, however, wouldn't let him back down. "Captain or not, I'm in charge of this scene," Jake said, his voice wavering slightly. Captain Reynolds raised an eyebrow. "Officer Thompson, is it? I suggest you stand down. This situation doesn't require your intervention." Jake's face flushed with anger. He wasn't used to being challenged, especially not by someone he had already judged based on appearances. In a moment of reckless impulse, he stepped forward, shoving Captain Reynolds aside. The crowd gasped. Captain Reynolds stumbled but quickly regained his composure. He fixed Jake with a steely gaze. "That was a mistake, officer." The next few minutes were a blur. Backup arrived and the situation was quickly diffused. But the damage had been done. Captain Reynolds reported the incident, and Jake found himself facing an internal investigation. As the days turned into weeks, Jake's life began to unravel. His colleagues distanced themselves from him, and the media caught wind of the story. Headlines like, "Racist Cop Assaults Black Police Captain" dominated the news, and Jake became the poster child for everything wrong with law enforcement. Captain Reynolds, meanwhile, handled the situation with grace. He didn't seek revenge. Instead, he used the incident as an opportunity to push for reform within the department. He advocated for better training, stricter accountability, and a zero-tolerance policy for discrimination. Jake's world continued to crumble. He was suspended without pay, and his wife left him, taking their kids with her. Alone and desperate, Jake was forced to confront the consequences of his actions. One evening, as he sat in his empty house, a knock came at the door. It was Captain Reynolds. "Can we talk?" the captain asked. Jake hesitated but eventually nodded. They sat down and for the first time, Jake listened. He listened as Captain Reynolds shared his own experiences with racism, his struggles, and his hopes for a better future. By the end of the conversation, Jake was in tears. He realized how wrong he had been, how much harm his prejudices had caused. He apologized, not just to Captain Reynolds, but to everyone he had hurt. The road to redemption wasn't easy. Jake had to earn back the trust of his colleagues, his community, and himself. He attended sensitivity training, volunteered with organizations fighting racial injustice, and became an advocate for change within the police department. Captain Reynolds, impressed by Jake's transformation, offered him a second chance. "Everyone deserves the opportunity to grow," he said. "But it's up to you to prove you've changed." Jake took the opportunity and ran with it. He became a better officer, a better man, and a better ally. And while he knew he could never erase his past, he was determined to make amends. Thank you for joining us on A1 Storyteller. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more gripping narratives. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep exploring the stories that shape our world.